If you love yourself, don't accept less than you deserve the moment you understand your value. The world can no longer convince you that you deserve less. Let those words breathe for a second, close your eyes, and inhale slowly. Because today, this message isn't just something to listen to, this is something to feel, to understand, and to live by. People talk about self-love as if it's a trend, a caption, or a hashtag, but real self-love. It's not just looking in the mirror and saying, "I am enough." It's not just journaling your dreams or lighting a candle in your room. Real self-love is a decision to stop lowering yourself just so others feel comfortable, a decision to stop accepting crumbs and calling it support, a decision to stop giving your energy to places that drain your soul, and maybe, just maybe, you haven't made that decision yet, not because you don't love yourself, but because you forgot who you are. You forgot your worth in the process of trying to be understood. You lost pieces of yourself trying to make someone else stay. You put your value aside just to keep peace in situations that had none. And today, we take those pieces back. Self-love means raising your standards. Let's get honest. There were moments you said it's okay, even when your heart knew it wasn't. You accepted bare, minimum effort, thinking something is better than nothing. You allowed inconsistency because you feared being alone. You stayed silent because you didn't want to be labeled too sensitive. But here's the truth the world doesn't tell you. When you accept less, you silently teach others how little they need to give. Read that again. Self-love is raising your standards, not because you think you're perfect, but because you understand your value is real, even when others don't see it. You don't need to prove your worth, you need to protect it. And raising your standards isn't cruelty, it's clarity. It's saying, I value loyalty, so I won't entertain games. I give effort, so I deserve effort in return. I choose peace, so I will walk away from chaos. When you raise your standards, the right people don't get scared, they rise to meet them. Let's confront something quietly sitting inside you. Deep down, you knew when situations were beneath your worth. You felt it in your body, that tightening in your chest, that knot in your stomach. Your intuition whispered, you deserve better. But you silenced it because you didn't want to look difficult, you didn't want to lose someone, you didn't want to seem ungrateful, you didn't want to be alone, you didn't want to start over, and I get it. Starting over is scary, but do you know what's scarier? Staying in places that slowly teach you to love yourself. Self-love is not always loud. Sometimes it's quiet, painful, and lonely. Sometimes it's sitting with yourself and saying, this hurts, but staying here hurts more. Something powerful happens the day you say enough. Not in anger, not in revenge, not in pride, but in clarity. You wake up one morning and realize you can't keep shrinking so others feel tall. You can't keep giving more than you receive. You can't keep explaining what respect looks like. You can't keep waiting for someone to treat you right. While you treat yourself wrong, you recognize that your peace is the most expensive thing you own, and you can't trade it for temporary company or temporary comfort. And that moment of clarity, it changes everything, because the world finally sees what you've always had: a heart with value, a soul with depth, a life with direction. Self-worth isn't arrogance, it's alignment. Let's clear something up. Having high standards doesn't mean you think you are above people. It means you are aligned with what you deserve. You don't demand perfection, you demand effort, honesty, consistency, respect. These aren't luxuries, these are basics. When someone says, you expect too much, they really mean, I don't want to give more. When someone says, you've changed, they often mean, I can't benefit from you the way I used to. And when someone says, you're hard to please, they mean, I'm not willing to rise to your standards. Remember this, the right people won't fear your standards, they will honor them. Here's what self-love asks of you. Make a promise to yourself that you will no longer negotiate your worth. Not for attention, not for validation, not to avoid loneliness, not to be chosen. Because being chosen by others means nothing if you abandon yourself to get there. Self-love says, I choose myself first, and whoever stays, stays, whoever leaves, leaves, not in bitterness. Not in pride, but in awareness. You're not closing the door, you're guarding the entrance. When you love yourself, you stop chasing, read carefully. When you love yourself, you don't beg. You don't chase. You don't explain your worth. You stop running after people who walk away. You stop proving your heart to people who don't value it. You realize, if I have to fight for my spot, it was never really mine. Self-love is understanding that what is meant for you will not require you to shrink to fit. Your standards are your future. Every time you accept less, you push your future further away. Every time you raise your standards, you pull your future closer. The life you want requires the version of you who refuses to settle. You can't step into your purpose carrying situations that weaken your spirit. You can't reach your potential surrounded by people who only offer the minimum. Your future requires strength, and strength comes from choosing yourself. You're worth your choice. Before this part ends, take a deep breath. Say this quietly or out loud if your heart needs it. I will no longer accept less than I deserve. I will raise my standards. I will choose myself with courage, not fear. I am worthy of respect, effort, peace, and love, starting with my own. You don't need permission to value yourself. You only need courage, and choosing courage is the first step toward the life you are meant to live. Self-love begins the moment you refuse to settle. Protect your energy, the heart of self-love. You can't become who you're meant to be while staying surrounded by what drains you. Let that line echo for a moment. Because protecting your energy isn't selfish, it's survival for your peace, your growth, your future. And once you truly love yourself, you don't just raise your standards, you guard your space. Think about the emotional exhaustion you felt, the conversations that left you empty, the friendships that demanded everything yet offered so little, the moments you stayed just to avoid disappointing someone else. Every time you ignored your exhaustion, your heart whispered something. You're giving too much to what gives too little. But maybe you stayed because you didn't want to hurt feelings, you feared being misunderstood, you hoped someone would finally change, you didn't want to be seen as cold or distant. Yet here's the truth people rarely say out loud. You are not responsible for carrying what others refuse to put down. You can't pick up people's problems and call it love. You can't give away your peace and call it loyalty. You can't abandon yourself to save everyone else and call it strength. Protecting your energy starts the moment you finally admit, I matter too. Self-love means protecting your energy. Protecting your energy doesn't mean isolating yourself. It means choosing your circle with intention. It sounds like, not everyone gets access to me. I don't have to respond instantly to everything. I can care without caring. I can love and still walk away when love becomes pain. I can show up for myself even if others don't understand. It looks like saying no without guilt, choosing silence instead of arguing, distancing yourself from drama, giving time to people who refill your soul, prioritizing your mental peace over temporary approval, because your energy is not infinite. Your spirit is not replaceable. Your peace is not a discount item for anyone to take. Your peace has a price, and it's not negotiable. Ask yourself quietly, who drains your joy just by speaking? What conversations leave you heavy afterward? Which expectations suffocate your peace? Where do you feel small when you should feel safe? These answers matter because they reveal something deep. Not everyone who smiles at you protects your spirit. Not everyone who sits near you nourishes your soul. Some people enjoy your presence only when they can take from it. But a heart that loves itself learns something powerful. Not everyone deserves access to me. Not because you're better, but because you're healing. Because you're growing. Because you're learning to treat your peace like treasure. And treasure is never left unguarded. Energy protection isn't about pushing away, it's about letting go. There will be moments when protecting your energy requires release. Releasing relationships that constantly drain, releasing responsibilities that break your spirit, releasing expectations that come with no support, releasing roles that were forced on you, not chosen by you. Letting go is painful, yes, but staying in places that shrink your heart is more painful. Sometimes love means holding on, but often love means letting go gently. And letting go doesn't always mean good. By sometimes it means, I will give less of myself to what gives nothing back. When you protect your energy, you change your life. Read this carefully. Protecting your energy will make your circle smaller, but your peace stronger. It will reduce noise, but increase clarity. It will remove certain faces from your life, but return your own face to the mirror, the one you haven't seen in a while. And yes, some people won't like your new boundaries. They'll say, you've changed, you're distant, you don't care anymore. But what they really mean is, I can't benefit from your lack of boundaries anymore. And that's okay. You're not here to be drained. You're not here to be second. You're not here to carry what breaks you. You're here to live with purpose, and purpose requires energy, clarity, peace. Signs your energy isn't protected. These moments are your signals. You feel tired after certain conversations. You feel pressured to be available always. You feel guilty. When you rest, you feel responsible for someone else's happiness. You feel anxious around people who should feel safe. You feel like you're giving more than you ever receive. These aren't coincidences. These are boundaries calling your name. The shift from people pleasing to self preserving. You don't have to apologize for. Choosing rest, taking space, prioritizing your goals, saying not today. Not answering every message, ending cycles that exhausted your soul, because every time you say no to what drains you, you say yes to what grows you. And the world needs the version of you that is whole, aligned, and awake, not drained, quiet, and forgotten. Protecting your energy teaches you that not everyone who wants you deserves you. Your peace is the real currency. Rest is not laziness. Its maintenance. Space is not distance. Its healing. Boundaries are bridges to healthier relationships, not walls. And most importantly, protecting your energy shows you that choosing yourself is not a betrayal, it's a return. The power of self. Love. Take a deep breath. Place your hand over your heart. Feel it beating steady, alive, present. This heartbeat is not free. It costs energy to keep it going. It costs care to protect it. It costs courage to surround it with peace. So repeat quietly, not as a quote, but as a promise. I will protect my energy. I will choose peace over pressure. I will not abandon myself to keep others comfortable. My energy is sacred, and I honor it. Because when you protect your energy, you protect your future, your growth, your joy, and yourself. Love. Protecting your energy is not selfish, it is self-respect. Walking away without fear, the final act of self-love. Walking away is not losing. Losing is staying where you're unvalued. Let those words settle in your chest, because walking away is not weakness, it is the highest form of choosing yourself. There comes a moment in every person's life when staying becomes heavier than leaving, when silence becomes louder than words, and when holding on becomes more painful than letting go. And in that moment, self-love doesn't whisper, it calls your name. Why letting go feels so heavy? It's not just about the person, the situation, or the environment. It's about who you were in that space. You weren't just attached to them, you were attached to the memories, the potential, the hope, the maybe one day. The version of yourself you were when everything felt easier. Leaving hurts because a part of you still believes, if I just try harder, maybe it will finally work. If I give more, maybe things will change. But here's the truth many avoid. If something requires you to lose yourself to keep it, it was never meant to stay. Love shouldn't cost you your identity. Support shouldn't require your silence. Belonging shouldn't demand your shrinking. Self-love means letting go without fear. Walking away is an act of courage. Not everyone can do it because it requires something rare: faith in yourself. Faith that you will survive the silence, you will rebuild your joy, you will find your people, you will heal without breaking. You will grow without permission. Letting go isn't about forgetting, it's about freeing space for your future. The moment you realize it's time, there's a moment. It doesn't always come loudly. Sometimes it comes as a quiet ache inside your chest, a tiredness that has no physical cause, a feeling that whispers, you don't belong here anymore. You notice your laughter feels forced, your presence feels unnoticed, your voice feels small, your effort feels invisible, and something inside you says, I am not growing here. That moment is sacred. It's not sadness, it's awakening. It's not breaking, it's becoming. Why some people fear your growth when you walk away. You don't just free yourself, you expose what others never wanted to face. Some people liked you best when you doubted yourself because it kept you close. Some people gave the bare minimum because they knew you would stay. Some people valued your silence more than your truth. And when you finally leave, it forces them to see what they lost by not valuing you when they had you. But remember, your worth was never measured by who failed to see it. What walking away teaches you, it teaches you that peace is more valuable than presence. Distance can be healing. Not punishment. Endings are not fail. Your closure is not always spoken. You don't owe explanations to everyone. Your heart deserves the same love you give, and most of all, walking away protects the future you have not met yet. How to let go without fear. Letting go doesn't mean erasing your past. It means releasing your grip on what no longer lifts you. You do it by accepting what cannot be changed, forgiving what still hurts, carrying forward the lessons, not the weight, remembering your value on days you feel weak, trusting that endings clear the path for beginnings. You stop asking, why wasn't I enough? And start telling yourself, I am enough, just not in that place. Your future needs space. Think of your heart as a garden. Some things must be removed for healthier things to grow. You cannot plant new dreams in soil filled with roots that suffocate you. You cannot step into your purpose while dragging what was never meant to stay. You cannot experience who you are becoming while clinging to who you were. Sometimes life doesn't take things from you, it removes what blocked your growth. The beauty of NEW beginnings, walking away opens doors you couldn't see before, suddenly. Your mind feels clearer, your breathing feels lighter, your reflection feels familiar again, your time becomes yours, your joy feels reachable, and little by little, you reconnect with the version of yourself that you abandoned to be accepted. You realize, I didn't lose anything, I returned to myself. You will not always feel strong through the process. Sometimes you will cry. Sometimes you will miss what hurt you. Sometimes you will question your decision. That doesn't mean you chose wrong, it means you're human. Healing is not a straight road, but every step away from what drained you is a step toward who you are becoming. Be patient with yourself. Growth is quiet before it becomes visible. When you choose yourself, your life changes. Walking away does not just change your environment, it changes your identity. You stop accepting half love. You stop begging for attention. You stop tolerating disrespect. You stop shrinking your truth to fit in. You begin to understand, I am allowed to outgrow what once felt right. You are allowed to change. You are allowed to evolve. You are allowed to demand effort. You are allowed to choose peace. And yes, you are allowed to walk away. Your promise to yourself, place your hand on your heart again. Feel that steady beat. That beat belongs to you, not to someone's expectations, not to someone's approval, not to someone's neglect. So repeat this quietly, like a vow to your future. I will not stay where my soul is shrinking. I will walk away from what does not honor me. I will not confuse comfort with love. I trust myself to let go even when it hurts. My worth is not negotiable. I choose myself with courage, because in the end, self-love begins when you stop accepting less and becomes complete when you walk away without fear.